Salut téléspectateurs, bienvenue à édition Teleskopi aujourd'hui. C'est avec un pile plaisir que nous avons accueilli M. James Hodge, qui est nouveau président et enfin PDG, organisation que les Children's Trust là. Donc nous pourrons aller dans le premier segment, font une introduction, font y parler avec M. Hodge. Et puis deuxième segment aujourd'hui, nous pourrons parler un petit peu de tout un série d'issues que nous connaissons qui concernent jeunes dans la communauté noire. Et surtout que Children's Trust, la priorité, c'est jeunes petits moun qui vivent dans la communauté. Donc, nous pourrons apprendre un petit peu de M. Hodge et puis, nous avons fait deuxième segment. Et donc, édition jeudi, premier segment a fait en anglais pour accommoder M. Hodge. Et puis, deuxième segment, on a fait en créole et peut-être en anglais tout. Parce que comme il est toujours là pour participer. And so, that was a long introduction to welcome you. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. James Hodge. A pleasure, a pleasure. So you are the new president, CEO of the Children's Trust. How new are you now?
Well, very new. I've been on the job now. This is my 13th day. So that's starting my third week in this position. And I'm truly excited.
So 12 days into it, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, surrounded by great people doing great work for children in this community. It's actually empowering. It really is. It's an energy high. I'm going out in the community, seeing wonderful things that are happening for kids throughout this community, from the Homestead line all the way to the Dade-Broward line.
And so that suggests that you've been making these community visits just to get accustomed and familiar with the vast geographic area that the trust covers.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So you've been south and you've been north, and so you're still in the process of discovering. What are you learning so far? What are you seeing?
Well, one is a lot of people ask me about my vision for the trust. And I haven't developed a vision yet. It's in the works, because part of developing a vision is I think I need to. I was born and raised in Miami. I lived here all my life, but it is a diverse community. So I'm making an effort to get out everywhere and anywhere, nights, evenings, weekends, early mornings, just listen and learn.
So you're fact-finding.
Correct. To go to all communities and to invest the knowledge and ingest the knowledge as I develop my vision.
Okay, good. So we're going to hold that vision question off for a little bit, because you're right that it's appropriate that you spend time discovering or rediscovering various segments of this community.
Correct.
So let's talk about you a little bit. Let's talk about James Hodge. You know, what's your story?
Well, again, I was born and raised in Miami. I am a child of immigrant parents. Both of my parents were born in the Middle East in the 1930s. And if you know, the Middle East is not that modernized, and in the 30s it wasn't modernized at all. And my father contracted a disease at 1 year old and became blind. And back in the Middle East in those times, if you become disabled, you're usually institutionalized, or you're doing manual labor for the rest of your life. And through a series of events of loving people and a whole lot of luck, he came to this country by himself at first, received his doctorate from a college in New York, got married, and was very successful. But he always attributed to me and my two brothers that we need to give back, because our family wouldn't be where we are today if there wasn't helping people and programs in place
along the way for him.
The guide dog, the lighthouse for the blind, a variety of the programs in place.
Are your parents still alive?
My father is passed. My mother is still alive.
Okay. So your father meets and marries your mother.
Correct.
You and your siblings, I presume.
Correct,
How many do you have? Two brothers? Do they live in Miami too?
One is back in Miami, and he is the editor for the Miami Daily Business Review, which is a publication for journals. And my other brother was named the new artistic director of the Guthrie Theater, which in the arts world in Minneapolis is one of the premier theaters in the nation.
Oh, how interesting! So you've got an editor, an arts person, and you're an educator by training. Let's talk about that.
Right. I started my career as a teacher, working with disabled students, coaching Special Olympics. As I pursued my degrees, I decided to go and receive an MBA. After the MBA, I was in a crossroads. I almost went to the banking and finance sector, but decided my whole passion is dealing with kids and children and bettering this community. And I went on and became an administrator for the Dade County Public School System. So the majority of my time has been spent, my last 25 years in the school system, as a principal, I was a principal for a couple years at a middle school, and then I returned to the school I graduated from, where I'm an alumni, to Southwest Senior High School, which I spent a significant portion of my time with it. Collectively as a staff, we turned the school around.
When you say turn the school around, how do you mean? Because our viewers might not understand.
For since the FCAT has started, the state gives grades to schools, and historically Southwest was a C school, dropped to a D one year, and was average at best in many people's eyes. But it had great potential. So I went in amongst with the staff and the leadership team, the parents and the community. We transformed it throughout the years to an A and sustained the A for 5 or 6 years straight. And still, I think one of the best credits I have is when I left, it sustained excellence.
Excellent. So how long had you been at Southwest?
6 years as the principal.
6 years.
I was the assistant principal prior, but 6 years as the principal.
And then prior to that, you were at Bell Middle School?
Paul Bell Middle School for 2 years as principal.
Did you opt for special education for any reason tied to your father?
Well, I think there was something there that with my father and giving back to disabled students was important. And as I stated earlier, what my parents instilled in myself and my brothers is that with this luck, you have to put the ladder back down. You have to continue helping. You got to give back to this community. So, for whom much is given, much is required.
Absolutely.
We need to pay it forward and invest. So I spent 25 years there. After I was a principal, I was in labor relations at the district. My last position, I was the assistant superintendent and the chief negotiator for Dade County Public Schools, dealing with the unions and negotiating contracts.
Okay. Do you have children?
I have 3.
Oh,
I have 2 girls and a boy, all elementary age.
Nice.
And I've stated before with a whole lot of energy.
Do you get home in time for homework? Have you seen homework lately?
I have seen homework. The last 2.5 weeks, I haven't seen homework. But prior, I make time to do the homework. And that was a question that was discussed at the interview or after the interview when I was applying for this job. And one is that I do need to make time for my kids. If I'm in charge of the Children's Trust, I need to invest in my children as well. Children are our community.
Can't be successful raising other children.
Correct.
If you don't do so for your own.
And then I got to model that for my kids. So yeah, I do invest.
Very good.
Nights and weekends with my kids.
Very good. So that's wonderful, because then you really have a better appreciation, a deeper appreciation for what some parents may or may not be experiencing themselves. That's really good. So your children, your wife, you live here in Miami, clearly. And so you are an educator by training, recently accepted this position with the trust. And so what do you know yet what you hope to achieve? Even if it's not necessarily part of the vision that you're going to build out, but you've got to have some wish, something you want to transform. What would that be?
I do. And part of applying for the Children's Trust is, I spent 25 years in the school system. I think I was very successful in the school system. I was in a great position, but something drew me to the trust. There were other positions that I've never applied elsewhere, but the trust is somewhat in similar lines of work, that you're dealing with kids and benefiting this community. And it really spoke to me. And I put my name into the hat, and I had the honor of being selected. But one thing I want to do, the trust gives back approximately $100 million to the community to invest in children. $100 million may seem like a lot, but the needs in this community are much more. So part of the trust is, how do we leverage what we have to maximize the funds to benefit kids, as well as one thing I want to morph this position into is to be an advocate for kids, to be a voice in this community, and to lead, to be a voice politically, to be a voice through the trust, and to really do what's best for kids in this community. And I have been doing that for 25 years, and I will continue to advocate and speak strongly on behalf of the children in this community.
Excellent. So we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about what you think makes you uniquely qualified for this position. What do you think is that special touch? What's that secret sauce that James Hodge has, whether in your upbringing, in your experiences, that make you ready for this challenge today? Right? Break, and when we come back, alors, on a parlé en créole kounia. Nous allons prendre une première pause, de nous retourner, on continue la conversation avec M. James Hodge. Et puis devant, il y a 2 autres invités qui pourraient nous rejoindre. À tout de suite.
Hello, Miami, and say hello to your neighbors at Florida Blue. This year, we're offering new low-cost plans that offer great coverage for you and your family. Plus, we're always working to make it easier to enroll. So call, click, or visit. Call us at 877-340-7916. Visit us online at floridablue.com/Hello Miami, or stop by your local Florida Blue retail store. Say hello to new low-cost plans and hello to Florida Blue.
Allô, zami moi. Non, moi, c'est Ernst Louis-Jacques. Dans tout plan Medicare Advantage qui est en Florida, c'est Humana qui gagne placement. Et puis, il offre un plan qui peut faire payer comme pas moi. Visite dans la clinique docteur, assurance pour l'hôpital avec médicaments prescription. Avec transport ou maintenant caille docteur. Avec un pile l'hôpital, avec un pile docteur pour choisir. Relais Humana. Humana, c'est un bon ami.
The most important 20 minutes of your day is spent reading to a child. Make books a part of your family's daily routine. Point to and talk about the pictures. Ask your child to repeat the words. Answer questions. Talk about it.
10 o'clock. Hey, that's really good.
Enjoying books together now helps children read to learn as they grow, ensuring success in school and in life. But their success depends on you. Don't let the children in your life become a statistic. For more information, visit thechildrenstrust.org.
Notre Miami Police Department a présenté FAC Festival, un festival gratuit pour toute la famille, samedi 30 avril de 11h à 4h p.m. dans Mocha Plaza, 770 Northeast, 125e rue dans North Miami. Menez toute famille là dans une journée de jouets, musique et rencontrer joueurs Miami Dolphins, officiers de notre Miami Police Department et fait une tournée de station police là côté ou à apprendre sur service social qui est disponible pour vous. Pour plus d'informations, relais 305 891 02 94 extension 23 209 ou visitez notmiamifl.gov/celebrate.
The Children's Trust Helpline, comment m'ka aider ou?
Petite fille besoin d'un pi bon note l'école.
Petit garçon besoin suivre exemple yon moun que le respecter. Moi pas capable continuer faire tête moi ça.
Si vous la caillou, marquez 211. Si vous appelez dans un cell phone ou sur un téléphone public, marquez 305 631 4211. N'a coûté ou, n'a comprend nous et n'a ka aider ou dans n'importe problème ou gagnant. 211, The Children's Trust Helpline. Voilà, nous de retour téléspectateurs, nous avons suivi l'édition Teleskopi aujourd'hui. Nous avons parlé avec M. James Hodge, qui est nouveau président, bien PDG, président directeur général Children's Trust. Comme nous connaissons Children's Trust, c'est une institution dans la communauté qui est là pour investir dans Timoun. Et dans l'investissement que l'on fait dans Timoun, dans la communauté, eh bien, il travaille en collaboration avec un pile organisation. Par exemple, Centre c'est une, Gang Alternative c'est une, Femme haïtienne dans Miami c'est une, et il y a plusieurs lots dans la communauté un petit peu partout, éparpillés. Donc, M. Hodge, il y a 13 jours depuis que il y a un titre ça, il est tout nouveau. Et donc, nous avons parler avec lui non seulement en guise de présentation à la communauté, mais tout pour nous tendre, pour nous voir exactement qui ça l'envisager, comment comprendre la réalité communautaire, et donc nous là pour aider à développer une meilleure compréhension. And so all of that was to reintroduce you, give a summary of what you said in the first segment. And so now, second segment, we want to launch with that question. You know, what is it about your upbringing, your experiences, the person you are, the influence of your parents or of, you know, your culture? Right. What do you think are those elements that prepare you for this job? Yeah. And what do you think you're the person to do this job at this time?
Yeah, and that's a great question. I think all the elements came to a head. I think it was perfect timing. I was born and raised in this community. I've seen this community grow into the beautiful city it is today, the diverse city it is today.
You were born and raised in this community?
Born and raised.
Wow. You're pretty young then.
I had parents, I'm not that young.
No, you look very young.
I had parents who were very, very giving. I had a father who was disabled. I worked with disabled kids. I was a principal of schools with large disabled populations as well as large English language learner populations, extremely large. I was also the region director at the Central Region South, which means I helped oversee 100 schools in the Central Region, 100 schools in the South, and I visited all the schools from Homestead all the way up to the northern part of this town. So I'm intimately involved in the schools, in the kids, in this community. I have a business background with an MBA, and I'm I was chief negotiator negotiating contracts for the district. So I think all those help my repertoire in dealing with the trust and writing the trust. But I think the biggest thing with the trust is probably my heart and where the kids are, because I've always wanted to do a job. I don't want to do a job that I'm passionate about. Want to give back to this community. Want to do a job that makes a difference in the lives of others, and that's what I've always done. It wasn't necessarily about the position. It was about where I wanted to be that I could make the greatest impact. And I think I'm in the position that I can make the greatest impact.
And it's not every day that you choose, to leave a very good job, enjoying what you do and moving on to something more challenging, but still because you want to. So that, I think that's special. Not everyone has that good fortune. And so let's see what happens, right? So with that, what are you seeing so far with your visits from Florida City up to Miami Gardens? What are you seeing so far? What's emerging for you as the greatest challenges in this community?
Yeah, I think two things emerge. One is that there is a great need. There's a tremendous amount of need. You have kids. You're living in a city that's vibrant, that's very wealthy. You have high rises with millions of dollars. You literally go half a mile away and you have extreme poverty. So the have and have not is extremely wide. You also have parents who are trying to do their best and have great intent, but have 2 or 3 jobs and have to try to put the food on the table and may not have the parenting skills to go with it. The other side I'm seeing is that you have such great organizations doing great work, which can help. I think what I have seen and what the beautiful thing, especially surrounding youth violence, is now that all the players and all the stakeholders and all the leaders of the community are coming together. So I'd like to capitalize on that movement and continue doing so that we work efficiently, and maybe try to stop redundancies where they are and build efficiencies where they need to be.
And the momentum is in your favor.
And momentum is moving forward. And everybody's willing, so to capitalize that and move it forward with the youth violence, as well as the food insecurities, as well as the homelessness issues, as well as all the other issues plaguing our town that no child should really be raised in that situation.
The not so pretty sides of Miami, right?
Correct.
That's good. And so with that, we want to be sure that you have every opportunity to, or we hope you'll have every opportunity to meet with various segments, various leaders, various representatives of the vast communities throughout Miami-Dade to really provide for you that insight that will help you really and doing this job that you seem to love so much.
And that is my goal. What I've done internally with the Children's Trust is I have people working on the internal operations so that I can go out and focus on being in the community. So for the next 90 days, my nights and my weekends, and every hour of my day will be getting into the different communities to listen and learn.
So is that your first 100-day plan?
Yes.
Anything else?
Well, that is it, developing a vision.
Of
There
course.
is, as just with any operation, we are funded by taxpayer money. So we are the stakeholders. I am the guardian to make sure that things are done efficiently and effectively. So as well as keeping tabs on the internal operations, I'm going to get into the community first and work on the internal operations so that we are efficient and effective.
Good. And I think the way you frame that is interesting and very important because clearly you've got community members who want to support the trust and have supported the trust and want to continue to see us do great things in this population, but you also have lots of elected officials who would like to see you do certain things that maybe focus more in maybe their cities or their areas, and you've got to manage all of that. Are you making are you making any tours of the municipal level governmental representatives to sit with them as well?
Absolutely. They're part of the schedule. My staff is scheduling meetings with all the governmental officials, commissioners, mayors, community leaders throughout, and providers. I want to hear from the providers, and more importantly, the parents and children. We can't have a conversation about providing great services without talking to parents, without talking to children, and without talking to the community.
Are you talking to the average Joe, man on the streets kind of thing?
Yes, because and that actually gives you the best insight, because we talk sometimes. You discuss with staff, you discuss with politicians, you discuss with people who know the work, but sometimes that doesn't trickle down to the parents and the children and the users. So yes, absolutely.
So I may have asked you this question already, but I'm going to reframe it. What would you say, because of your experience as a principal, what have you learned as a principal that you think is going to be the greatest asset for you in this job with the trust as CEO?
Yeah, and I think the principal is probably where I had the best experience and I've learned the most. That as a leader, and there was about 300 staff members, 3,500 kids, 10,000 parents, step-parents, and extended family.
Huge operation.
Is that you cannot move an organization without having everybody on board. Everyone needs to be on board. If you want to do sustained change and change to excellence, you need to share the vision, get everyone into the vision, and everybody going in the same direction. I used to use the sport at crew about rowing the boat. You have people, great athletes rowing the boat, but if not everyone's not in sync, you're going to flip. However, if you're all rowing at the same time and you get efficiencies and effectiveness, you're flying across the water and great results come from that. So it's a matter of getting everybody, staff, elected officials, community, doing the great things for the kids. It is easier said than done. It was very hard. It was hard even with the school where you controlled the environment. It took some time. You have a lot of variables in this, but that is my intent, to get everyone moving in the same direction.
Good, good. All right, so we're going to go to second break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by two individuals that I often refer to as my co-hosts for this show, because they ought to just accept the fact that they are. And so they'll join us so we can continue the conversation, not only looking at the key issues in Miami-Dade County, throughout Miami-Dade County, but those issues that particularly affect the Haitian population.
Right.
All right, so second break. When we come back, we'll bring on the other two guests.
Great.
Right? Nous avons tout de suite téléspectateurs avec deux invités, deux mondes que nous connaissons très, très, très bien. Et je vais parler de Mme Shirley Plantin et de Mme Léonie Amantin. Donc, ensemble, nous allons continuer la conversation avec M. James Hodge. Et nous allons parler un petit peu plus gros problème que nous avons dit qui existait à travers Miami-Dade County, mais tout problème qui est particulièrement affecté la communauté par nous, la communauté haïtienne. Donc, nous allons tout de suite après pause. Là.
Change is coming to the world of healthcare. The Affordable Care Act guarantees health insurance access for everyone. And you may have a few questions about it. Which plan is right for me? How much is it going to cost? Do I qualify for financial help? Relax. You're not alone. Florida Blue is here for you. Just call 1-800-362-0621 to talk to someone who understands your needs. We're ready to answer all your benefit questions, help you choose the best plan for you and your family, and even show you ways to help pay for coverage. We have people all across the state ready to guide you through the changes in healthcare. You will even be accepted if you have pre-existing conditions. But the time to enroll is right now. So call 1-800-362-0621 today or visit floridablue.com to shop our plans, find a local agent, or locate a Florida Blue Center near you. Because when healthcare questions happen, we're here for you. Call today. 1-800-362-0621.
L'État de la Floride offre une assurance de la santé qui couvre Timonio depuis au fait quand Isler a 18 ans, même si tous les parents n'ont pas de travail. Florida Kid Care couvre diverses qualités de services médicaux, sorties sous visite à docteur, l'hôpital, à toute cas urgence. Centre là, the Haitian Neighborhood Center, invite tous les parents haïtiens yo prend avantage assurance d'État Florida Kid Care. Passez dans 5000 Biscuit Boulevard ou les 305 573 48 71 pour réclamer une application. Assurez petit tout.
Young Talent, Big Dreams. The most comprehensive local youth talent competition for performers ages 8 to 17 is taking audition reservations now. Presented by Actors Playhouse at the Miracle Theater and the Children's Trust. Auditions run October through March throughout Miami-Dade. Compete for prizes, scholarships, and performance opportunities. For complete details, visit these websites or call the Children's Trust Helpline at 211.
L'amour ak affection. Acheter yon lampe kit solaire qui jaillit bon jan lumière pour chasser blackout pour retirer toute famille dans fait noir. Allez visiter clairehaiti.com pour choisir lampe kit solaire qui peut éclairer famille la caillou. Fait commande, payer là pour là. Non succursale Western Union tout près la caillou. Western Union n'a fait l'argent marché pour demain million.
Voilà, nous de retour téléspectateurs, comme moi t'ai annoncé, nous maintenant nous Léonie Armentin et Shirley Plantin qui rejoignent nous. Donc ensemble avec Monsieur Hage, nous allons continuer conversation, conversation bilingue évidemment et plus en anglais parce que Monsieur Hage c'est anglais seulement le palais, mais toujours est-il que nous continuer à regarder, enfin peut-être plus gros difficultés que nous gagnons à travers Miami-Dade County, que toute communauté à travers Miami-Dade County a subi journée aujourd'hui. So with that, ladies, welcome. I was explaining to Mr. Haj that you are my co-host and you don't realize that, right?
We haven't accepted it yet.
Right. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you, Leonie. Right? And so Mr. Haj and I have been having a wonderful conversation around not only his experience, his experiences thus far that have brought him to this point of being CEO of the trust, his plan in terms of making sure he carves out time to visit, you know, the various communities throughout Miami-Dade County to sort of develop a broader vision for what the key approaches would be. And so, you know, you're joining us right in time in terms of talking about what we see, I mean, based on our experience doing work in this community, what we view as the major challenges that we've got to tackle. Now, challenges that not only would fall on the trust, but challenges for all of us, right? So, Shirley, I know how passionate you're about youth.
Yep.
So let's talk about that. Where do you see the major challenges where youth are concerned throughout Miami-Dade County?
Well, allow me to thank you again for the opportunity. And Mr. Haj, welcome to the co-host. Welcome to Sotma and the Teleskopi show in our community. I would have to definitely say our youth and the juvenile delinquency. I think a lot of it has to do with too much idle time. And we do have programs. The trust funds a lot of programs. But getting the kids to the programs and making sure that they're captive in order to keep them coming back, I think is an issue that we're running into.
Okay, so the programs are there, but the kids maybe are not necessarily gung-ho around some of them?
Right, because they're telling you that it's not active, it's not hands-on, similar to our Sutla fellows. It was engaging to them. So they left there with, okay, I learned something without necessarily needing to open a book or having to do a pre-test, a post-test. So speaking to the kids, those were some of their issues.
And
we want to come.
How difficult it is to engage kids today.
Right.
They've got a million things going, and if you can't sing and dance at the same time, it's challenging.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Leonie, what would you add? What do you see in addition to youth issues?
Well,
so juvenile delinquency. You said one more thing.
I think more engaging programs that really are hands-on for them.
Okay.
Yeah, and even the non-juvenile delinquent, I think that there's also a youth population that needs to be, especially in well, I would say in the Haitian community and perhaps in wider communities, is the educational attainment. I think that's critical. That's a critical issue. I know that in this community, it's a very, very serious issue in terms of how far behind the children are. Some children are 2 grades behind. Graduation rate is really low in some segments. So I think that we need to address that as a community.
Absolutely.
I think that parents, the opportunity for parents to, but that's something that we have no control over. It's the employability of parents, the fact that many of our parents occupy really low-paying occupations, and which makes it difficult for them to spend time, you know, mix that they have to have two, three jobs, which makes it very difficult and almost impossible for them to be with their children in a way that is constructive, in a way that will really contribute to the children's growth, positive growth.
Would you like to add anything? Is there anything that you want to pinpoint right now, or should we just continue?
No, I want to piggyback. I agree with both of the co-hosts.
It's official.
My first meeting I had at the Trust was regarding youth violence. And we talked about what are we going to do. We have providers in the community. So we have been meeting with all the stakeholders. And this Monday, 2 days ago, we met with all the providers to see what are you doing and what else can we do to change the trajectory of youth violence. So I think the youth violence is something that we need to look at.
Absolutely.
And it's been a historic problem. It didn't just happen now, it's been happening for years. But how do we capitalize on all entities working together and the definition of it, insanity, keep on doing the same thing, we're not changing
And
results.
expect
What else can we do? What new innovative projects can we do? So we are looking into that, and hopefully we can lead some momentum into changing what is happening in this community.
That's good. Well, the climate is certainly appropriate, because we've had such a surge of violence, shootings, of killings, of innocent lives, and so absolutely. What do you say? What do you know about homelessness, in particular where the youth are concerned in this community? So it seems to be
a
problem that's growing.
phenomenon.
It's creeping up on
Yes,
us.
and I think Miami-Dade County Public Schools often tries to address it with the Upstart program, understanding that you've got a lot of youth in the community that may not be living with mom or dad or an aunt or uncle. They're just living with a friend of a friend, and we've got to be able to provide for them. They're not eating, so that relates to a lot of the educational attainment because the kids are not eating, they're not sleeping well. They're out on the streets late at night because wherever it is that they're able to sleep, they have to get there when everybody else is asleep. So a lot of the homelessness issues that we're seeing with our kids are resulting in the educational issues, are resulting in the youth violence issue because it's a domino effect. But the homelessness amongst our youth is really, really becoming an issue.
New forms.
Some people, some are sleeping in storage.
Yes.
Areas, and they can't eat well, and it's and families are also living in that. And
yes, I mean, I think that no one would be surprised that when you speak of families, because that's a problem that I think that's generated quite a bit of attention in the past, from the creation of the Homeless Trust to Camilla's House and all of these partnerships, City of Miami, to really try to address this issue. But I think in terms of young people, being homeless is something that's shocking to many of us, right? And the conditions under which they're becoming homeless too,
And we're seeing a lot more when our youth are doing service learning activities. We did one for Good Friday, and it was amazing to see the amount of young people that was out there looking for food on Good Friday, because they just had nowhere else to eat. And I think it touched a lot of our kids who were then giving back, and you're serving one who looks just like you.
That's
and
really,
it was heart-wrenching.
I'm sure. What about employment opportunities? I'm so happy to hear of this initiative, Trust, Miami-Dade County Public Schools, in terms of creating summer employment opportunities, right?
And I think that just want to highlight, these are not just simple summer employment opportunities. These are not, because we're used to the idea of people coming in, the kids come in, they do filing, they're not doing anything that would really lead meaningful, that will lead to and I think that this initiative is much more focused on skill transference, on the idea of perhaps mentorship, of really creating through this program a career path for these children. So I think that it's very different from the usual come to my office, sit there, file, and then go home.
You said something about the mentorship component. How do you view the mentorship programs? How do you think that that's an essential element in this formula to combat the violence? Jobs, job opportunities, a sense of hope. What about the role of a mentor? Do you view that as something you'd like to really want to push?
Right. I think mentorship is critical. I mean, I've seen it firsthand. Many kids go home to a household where they don't have a responsible adult. And besides school, there's no other responsible adult in their life. To have a mentor is critical. I mean, I've seen it transform kids to build a strong, lasting relationship. The difficulty really is getting to mentors and getting mentors that will stay for a considerable amount of time and that will see it through, because you don't also want to pair a mentor and let a kid down that they build a relationship and then 4 months later that mentor's not in their life.
That's our worst thing that you could do to a child, right?
And I think that perhaps the idea to explore maybe how do you create mentorships within the community, because it's always the idea of mentorship is always someone from outside who's coming in.
It doesn't have to be.
And I think that when the kids talk, they would like to see sort of the positive role models within their community who understand them, who are not going to make them feel embarrassed about, oh, this is where you live, oh my God, I'm going to drop you off here. People who know the community
and won't be critical.
So I think that part of the challenge is also to find that kind of opportunity to mentor within communities.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I know we're trying to focus a lot on young people's issues, clearly because the trust focuses on children as a priority, that's true. But there are challenges with our adults as well, with our parents. And I think you mentioned the fact that so many parents they don't know what to do. And they don't necessarily have the time resources or the financial resources to do so much to enhance the experiences that their children would have in schools or throughout in the community. So do you see that as maybe a potential component in this future plan to address violence issues in this community?
Yeah, and it's something the trust is already doing. We do invest in parenting skills.
Yes,
and that is
yes.
something
We run a parenting program.
And that is something
Trust-funded.
that we need to continue doing because you have parents, as you stated, who do not know, have a great heart, they want the best for their child, they may not know how to do that. So really building the parent and changing, I think at the trust and what many organizations do is from the cradle to graduation, that we have a continuum that we support, and it's also a critical component is the parenting component. You do it well early on, a lot of things take care of themselves on the back end.
Absolutely, recognizing the challenges sometimes too that are inherent in attempting to recruit parents, encourage parents to attend these programs because they love their children. We know that, but it's not easy to make a case for, invest this time that we know you don't have, but invest it
especially when it's not court mandated or there's not a crisis.
Absolutely.
And they may not solicit it, so we have to work on going to the parent.
And figuring out what the best approach is.
Right.
We're still
And
on that one.
not let them think that they're broken because sometimes part is like, who are you to teach me how to be a parent? I mean, there's always there's always that sort of. I would love to change the name parenting to something else because people always think when you say parenting,
it's about the
you're
parents'
teaching
lack
me what
of
to do.
right with positive youth development. They love their kids. They
Yeah.
want what's best for the kids, and so they can come into this program where we will help you help your kids.
Correct.
Right? But yes,
That seems to be what works sometimes for us.
that's a very good point. So parenting, opportunities for youth to have mentors, to have meaningful job experiences and opportunities.
To eat.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I know in some conversations, when you ask the kids, why do you get in trouble? I was hungry.
Right.
I'm homeless, I have nothing to eat.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
And speaking of homelessness, I know, for instance, that the superintendent has really has invested a lot of time and energy into trying to create a safety net for homeless youth who attend Miami-Dade County Public Schools. And so that, I think, is an opportunity to, there's some lessons that can be shared and learned there in order to maybe replicate for other youth who've got some challenges. Youth who are put out of their homes because for one reason or another, they're no longer wanted there. I mean, that is
a reality.
And it's a devastating reality. We saw such a case very recently, this young man, and you could tell he was torn because he loved his parents. And yet, for one reason or another, he was out. And first of all, trying to find them a place to house them was impossible, right? Because this process is very convoluted, very cumbersome. You're trying to find some place for that guy today. And yet, that the process is discouraging, but still, I think increasingly we see some kids being homeless. So that is, again, just to put that on your radar, because that's an issue that we're gonna have to tackle a little bit more of, right? So homelessness for youth, parenting, being able to eat, as you say, educational attainment, that's really big. Engaging youth programs. What else?
Well, I think we're also going into the summertime, so it's nice that we need to start looking at summer camps and summer programs so that we don't have kids idle and that we have kids in programs. The Children's Trust is coming out with a mobile app as well as on our website, and then we'll be putting out publications throughout the community of all the programs.
They've been distributed already.
In Miami-Dade County.
That's right.
So that will be forthcoming.
And I also think that the trust is also sort of approaching the idea that programs don't raise children, communities raise children, and so the idea is that while the trust is investing in programs, the trust is also looking at making communities stronger through place-based initiatives that begin to weave sort of vibrant, strong communities that will engage, stakeholders and parents to make their children whole.
Yes.
Because it's not something that individuals can do, but when the collective sort of puts their hands, as we say, main pile chai palou,
many hands make work light.
It's an attempt to recreate that village that raises children.
Good.
I think that's also a strategy that the trust is beginning to look at.
Good. So if anything, view this as, more of your community tours, right?
I've actually learned quite a bit just sitting here.
Fantastic. So we're going to go to the third and final break, I think. When we come back, we'll try to summarize. We'll remind people about the various summer programs that are funded through the trust, that are available. First come, first serve. When we come back, we'll talk more about that. So last break, et puis on retourne tout de suite les spectateurs.
Hello, Miami, and say hello to your neighbors at Florida Blue. This year, we're offering new low-cost plans that offer great coverage for you and your family. Plus, we're always working to make it easier to enroll.
Hello.
So call, click, or visit. Call us at 877-340-7916. Visit us online at floridablue.com/hello-miami or stop by your local Florida Blue retail store. Say hello to new low-cost plans and hello to Florida Blue.
Quality childcare is your child's start to a great future, so aim high. To prepare your kids to grow up to fulfill their dreams, the Children's Trust encourages you to ask your childcare provider if they're part of the Quality Counts program in Miami-Dade County. Quality Counts strives to improve quality in childcare by star rating providers on things like an atmosphere that promotes learning, teacher certification, student-teacher ratios, and so much more. To find a star-rated Quality Counts or accredited childcare provider near you, log on to thechildrenstrust.org or call 211.
Notre Miami Police Department a présenté FAC Festival, un festival gratuit pour toute la famille, samedi 30 avril de 11h à 4h p.m. dans Mocha Plaza, 770 Northeast, 125e rue dans North Miami. Menez toute famille là dans une journée de jouets, musique et rencontrer joueurs Miami Dolphins, officiers de notre Miami Police Department et faire une tournée de station police là côté ou à pas prendre sous service social qui est disponible pour vous. Pour plus d'informations, relais 305 891 0294 extension 23209 ou visitez northmiamifl.gov/celebrate.
For most of us, this is the sound of childhood. But for over 4,000 children in Miami-Dade County, this is their reality. Abused, abandoned, and neglected, with no one to speak for them. But now there is a voice and hope. Voices for Children. Find out how you can be the one big difference in their lives today.
Voilà, nous de retour téléspectateurs, dernier segment édition jeudi. On a parlé avec M. James Hodge, qui est président, directeur général de Children's Trust. Et donc, ensemble avec nous, il y a Mme Léonie Hermantin et Mme Shirley Plantin, ensemble. Alors, moi-même, my co-host. Donc, on a fait conversation ça ensemble avec M. Hodge, non seulement pour nous mieux comprendre, mieux aider à comprendre tout, difficultés qui gagnent dans la communauté ça, et des difficultés que Children's Trust là, d'une façon bien l'autre, pour joindre, enfin, pour l'obliger à adresser dans une certaine mesure. Donc, c'est ça la conversation. Hein? Donc, dans le dernier segment, ça, on a essayé de ramasser et puis conclusion. So, with that, last segment. So we've had wonderful conversation. I think this was an opportunity to introduce Mr. Hodge to the Haitian community. Hopefully this will not be your last visit on this show. Open invitation.
Thank you.
Right? And once you've had your 100-day tour, hopefully we'll be among the first to hear what this great vision of yours will be. And we're very excited. Can't wait to hear it. And we hope also to have opportunities to continue to have these conversations around the kinds of issues we've heard here, and I'm sure there'll be so much more, so many more items to tackle, right? So if you could wave a magic wand, Shirley, what would you wave it on? What would you change where youth are concerned in this community?
Where youth are concerned, providing opportunities to keep them alive.
Wow.
Because we can
That's
have the
powerful.
programs, but if we can't keep them alive to walk through
To
the
enjoy
door,
the programs.
they're
Yeah.
null and void. So
Yeah.
the opportunities are, what do we do to attract them? Whether it be via social media, whether it be via opportunities that engage them to want to come. Because I was saying this earlier, we can, and I said this at the State of Black Miami, the trust will fund the programs, but if people aren't coming, that's not on the trust.
Right.
That's on the community.
Right.
So it falls either on the parents or the youth, but most likely at the age that I'm talking about, you're 13 to 18 and then beyond, it takes that want to be there, because these parents aren't there to carry them, pick them up, and
Sometimes
drop
they
them
just
off.
don't understand.
They don't understand
the implication
No.
of the opportunities.
So it's how do we battle the social media, the music, and all the fun that's out there to get them to simply walk through the door. So
That's
that
a-
magic
that's a big
wand,
wand.
yes, that magic wand has to do a lot of work getting them there.
Yeah.
But
You know, who's they? Because I think that
kids.
also, I know, but I think that a lot of the discussion has been very focused on boys. You know, it's been very gendered, and
It's boys and girls somewhere
Yeah,
we
well,
sit.
absolutely.
Ooh, and
you know,
ooh.
I heard someone say, "Well, the boys will come if you have the girls."
and
it's, you
vice
know,
versa, maybe.
Exactly.
Yes. But the other thing
But
that
I think that it's really important to also. I think that girls fall through the cracks in this whole discussion of violence, and I know that they're right there in the center of it, and I hope and I know that the trust will also look at it from the gender lens and really look at ways to approach girls in a way that they can be sort of the anger management, the agent of anger management, and you know, all these things that you know that girls are involved with, but has somewhat been put aside when we start focusing on violence.
Because you see, we're focusing on the killing.
On the
that's
killing.
exactly,
Right?
and the image of the killing is usually
And
the
because
boys.
it's compelling, because
Right.
listen, you know, you can't explain a senseless
Right.
loss of life,
Right,
right?
right.
But you're right that sometimes the girls are involved in so many different, the kinds of activities that we probably don't have time to begin right now. But clearly, you're right that there needs to be a special focus there, because we're not seeing shootouts, but we're seeing
And
other things
the
that
difference
are.
is they cut each other. So you have the girls that are fighting with the razor blade in their mouth, like I was saying earlier. So as the fighting is happening, so of course we're not seeing the shootouts, it's not making the news, but while the fight is going on, I take it off and I raise half of your face off. While the adrenaline is running, you don't feel it. And by the time you realize it, half your face is sliced. And that's how they get their message across, that I marked you. You're a marked territory, that you have messed with me. So the girls have their own, I completely agree with you. It's just it doesn't raise to the level where we're seeing it on the news all the time.
Right. So what's your magic wand gonna do? Each of you will get this question.
Oh, my magic
Whether, parents, kids, community services, community resources, what would you wave and have instant change? What would that instant change be?
Oh, parents really having the freedom to love their children.
What does that mean, the freedom to love their children?
You know, some of us are, many parents are constrained by culture. You can't do this, you have to be strict, you have to do this, you have to talk in a way, you have to react, and that it's almost weakness to show love, to kiss, to hug, and to me it would be, I think, because that's the basis of all of it, that I don't have to be afraid that I'm going to be called, oh, you're weak, because, you hold your child, you comfort your child when he or she cries. And to me, that would be, that being able to bring that light into, I know it sounds, but, to bring that love into the heart of parents so that they can feel empowered to love their children and raise, loved and not broken human beings.
What about your magic wand? This.
You're speechless for me.
I am speechless. These are some significant ones. Right? And then that goes to show you that we've got, I think, very challenging issues, but I think that there's no problem that's human made that doesn't have a human driven solution.
Absolutely.
Right? There's no problem that a policy couldn't redress, that resources couldn't redress. And so, as you say, we've just got to be rowing in the right direction, in the same direction. Right? So what would your one be?
Well, I think Miami-Dade is a diverse and beautiful place. And I think we're leading the nation in a lot of issues. And I think this should be one that we should showcase how it's done. My one would be to demand that communities and parents stand up for their kids.
Absolutely.
There are some, this is not happening in all zip codes. And we need to make sure that the community wraps their arms and provides kids with a loving environment. It's not acceptable for 40 kids to be shot within 14 months. It's just not. And that's only we hear about killing. We're not hearing about 1,000 people get shot in a year in Miami. We're not hearing all the other violence that is not gun related. So how do we stand up? Well, again, we cannot fund programs. Programs will not change it.
Absolutely not.
The parents and the community have to stand up and
community
demand.
being very large here. Community meaning various stakeholders, parents, as you're saying, providers, teachers, elected officials, everyone, churches, everyone has to focus on this issue with laser beam intensity.
Right. You cannot let 1% of the population dictate what 99% of the violence is not being perpetrated by everybody.
Right.
So we need to stand up and speak for our kids. It's unacceptable that kids live in these environments that do not feel safe. You know, they tell you, I do not feel safe going to school. I do not feel safe walking home.
They don't feel safe going to some community programs, to your point.
And how in the United States of America do we allow that to happen? So we'd like to see everybody stand up and put a strong voice, a united voice, that this is unacceptable.
Good, good, good. Very
And
nice.
your magic wand?
Oh my goodness!
As
I'd like
co-host.
I'd like to see you all keep talking. Seriously, I think that all of what you've offered are important elements. I'd like to see empowered community residents as well, people who can have a decent lifestyle, right? Because I think that with that we can then help them to do more of what you're talking about, being able to take care of their children, being able to stand up for their children, being able to guide their children so that they don't go down that path. You know, when we have community members who don't do well, who are not well, our community can't be well, right? And so I'd like to see us, you know, work in that direction, work for really greater community well-being, serious community well-being, where, you know, people are able to eat, people are able to live in a decent household, people are able to enjoy all of the marvelous things that Miami has to offer, right? So I don't want to see us become these two Miamis, as we seem to, you know, tend to want to be. So that would be my one, to eliminate these two Miamis, have us be one Miami, a Miami where folks are concerned about what's going on in Little Haiti, in Miami Gardens, in North Miami Beach, and Homestead, Florida City, wherever there are challenges that impact our quality of life, that we would be concerned, we would together address what we can and demand that change take place when we can. All right? So, yeah, that's, I mean, you know, we're visionaries. We want to see big things happen, huge things happen, and we don't want to invest our energies for the next lifetime, because next lifetime I'm not going to have any energy. So I rather invest it now, and sometimes I become kind of impatient with what I'd like to see done, but recognizing that this is not an easy problem. It's not impossible to resolve, but it's not easily resolved. And so it'll just take, you know, keeping at it, working smart, working in partnerships to get things done, right? So with that, I want to remind you that we'd like to invite you back. You know, we're going to give you another 90 days, because we've only been at it 13, another 90 days, and we'll come back and we'll begin to look at that. And clearly, you know that in this community, we will welcome you. We will welcome the opportunity to work with you to address the challenges that we know are not only inherent in our Haitian community, but that tend to cut across other communities. We wish you well. Really.
Thank you.
Wish you very well. Because your success is our success and vice versa.
Right.
All right? So with that, last words from you?
No, I just want to thank you. I forgot the term. You need to remind me of that. Thank you.
It starts with an M.
Merci.
And A. En pile.
Merci à pile.
There you go. All right. So we'll give you a chance to say that once more. So we want to remind viewers que gon festival nous réclame qui a passé dans l'édition Teleskopi ça, un festival FACT. C'est un festival que Children's Trust a supporté, en pile organisation communautaire participer là-dedans. Donc, on a encouragé téléspectateurs qui habitent dans la zone North Miami, puis on a peut-être participé. On a rappelé téléspectateurs tout que s'il y a besoin d'informations autour de early learning opportunities, organisation qui gère les questions garderie, vie piquée, Head Start, Early Head Start. Si vous avez besoin d'informations sur question sérieuse, les centres là pour nous donner plus d'informations. Et puis, bon, sous ça, Shirley, last word, et then Léonie, last word.
Well, n'a demandé pareil pour définitivement l'air marché sur yo pour summer camp. Pas tant que c'est l'école laguée, on a essayé de décider qui ça qu'on a fait à Timonio parce que pas bien place encore. Et puis mon bail qu'on parle en café c'est qui ton Timon chita pour pas faire rien pendant l'été. Parce que c'est un coup ça en arrière Timon ne move sans pile travail pour professeur. C'est un point que me devait faire passer.
To avoid the summer slide. Yes. Leonie, last word.
I'm really excited about having a new director, a new president at the Children's Trust. I think that there'll be a lot accomplished with the vision. And we're waiting for the 90 days.
That's right. We can't wait. So thank you again. Thank you for being generous with your time, making some time to have this conversation. I'm sure now, people are going to say, oh, I saw him, that Mr. Hash. So, prepare yourself for that. That certainly may happen and will happen. And again, all I can say is that we wish you well. And count on us to tell you when you're getting things right, just as we will tell you when you're not getting them so right. Right? Promise that.
Thank you.
All right? So with that, thank you again. Thank you, ladies, my co-hosts.
Thank you.
And merci, téléspectateurs. On a nous rendez-vous pour une autre émission Teleskopi. Et puis, entre-temps, les centres là pour information que de mentionner là. Surtout, les gens qui ont besoin d'informations autour de Early Learning Coalition. Donc, à bientôt. Merci en pile.